Chapter 50. Pop the question. I truly love Arthur. I don't think I've ever felt like this towards someone else before. Some call it bewitched, I call it love. For there is an emptiness in the freedom of being alone and a liberty in being caught in that divine spell. And so when I see in his eyes the feelings of my heart, we become one. And if that isn't magic, then I cannot say what is. I felt like I was under a spell whenever I was around him. I couldn't help but fall more deeply in love with him, as I watched him talk about his future plans for Williams Incorporated so passionately. I loved the way his voice quickened when he sparkled with a new idea that he almost lost himself for a moment and quite forgot the mysterious and serious facade he often wore for others. A smile formed on my lips as I rested my chin on the palm of my hand, staring at him with so much love and adoration. His happiness is the sweetest melody on my eyes and ears. I could wrap myself up in his words and sleep more soundly than a baby. I guess that's the attraction I feel for him, but it feels so deep. As if this were the start of a song that plays on, something so soothing to my soul. At this point I couldn't even pinpoint what made me so attracted to him. I felt like no matter the distance, my attraction towards him would remain constant. He could be at the ends of the earth and still I would feel pulled toward him. There is something about him and I that matches, each half loving the other so fully that a life alone would be meaningless. When times were dark, he was the one who helped lift me back into the light. When times are bright, he is the one who rejoices with me. So though it is his eyes, his skin, his face that I look upon, I just know that the attraction runs deep to my core. I love you. The moment those words left my lips, a blush crept to my cheeks. Based on how warm my face felt, I already knew it was like the blush of roses, that peak of champagne pink. My now color-infused cheeks dimpled with the blossoming smile and my eyes shone in a way that only deep happiness can bring. This time I didn't cover my mouth in embarrassment or looked away from him. I stared deep into his beautiful blue eyes, showing that what I am saying is genuine and true. His eyes sparkled with happiness as he reached out for my hand. I love you too. It was the deep curve on his lips that made me feel like the world has stopped around us. It was a smile that brought back a million memories in a split second, from the night we first met at that party and the first time he smiled at me when I was still working at Williams Incorporated to the smile he gave me when he first saw me tonight. That precious dimple that crinkles always made my heart skip a beat. From the very beginning, I always thought that he had a smile that made me feel happy about being alive. And because of that, I have to get something off my chest, he said nervously as he ran a hand through his hair. I tilted my head in confusion as I started to feel worried about what he had to say. I hope it's not too bad. He stood up from his chair and breathed in heavily. I grew even more confused as to what he was trying to do. His eyes were fixated on me the whole time. He knelt on his one knee and held my hand. Is this what I think it is? I gasped as he cleared his throat. Am I dreaming? Is he going to propose to me? Sandra Bailey, he started off. When I first laid my eyes on you at the bar that night, I knew I had to know you. He continued. My heart was hammering so hard on my chest. I couldn't believe everything that was happening. A couple of tables near where we're seated stopped eating and turned to us to hear what Arthur had to say. So when I had the chance to talk to you, I had already made a decision to make you mine. He muttered shyly as he ran a hand again through his hair. Maybe it was because of your drive to pursue your dreams, your kind-hearted personality, or your beauty, he added, which made my heart melt at his words. Either way, as I come to know you more, I fell in love with you even more. His eyes were full of love as he spoke. I can already feel my eyes watering up at this point. It really hurt me that you chose to keep your identity from me. I thought that you didn't love me the way I loved you. His eyes started glistening as he remembered my horrible lie. I really didn't mean to hurt him. He cleared his throat again. But once you told me the reason, I figured that we can still work things out. I grabbed the napkin closest to me and dabbed it on my eyes as I could feel the tears that were about to roll down. I gripped his hand tightly. I'm sorry, croaked out. He just shook his head. Don't be, he murmured. I understand why you had to do the things that you did, so I just waited patiently for you. He caressed my cheeks, wiping away a tear that escaped. Thank God. I didn't have to wait for so long. He chuckled, trying to uplift the mood. So now we're here, stronger as ever we could be. He smiled at me genuinely. I won't leave you anymore, I told him, his grin widening. That's fine, because I won't allow you to leave me anymore. He smirked cheekily. We both chuckled at his retort. You're mine now, and I would like to make it even more official. He stared intently into my eyes. Is he going to pop the question now? It felt like he read my mind. Sandra Bailey, will you marry me? My heart leaped with joy. The happiness we both felt is infectious. It started as a tingle in my fingers and toes, much like the feeling I have when I'm anxious, but instead of worrisome it's warm. I feel it pass through me like a warm ocean wave, washing away the stress of a while ago to leave me refreshed inside. I could barely conceal my delight as I pulled him in a tight embrace. Maybe happily ever afters do exist at all. I didn't have to leave my own glass slipper that night because as soulmates we'd eventually find each other. I pulled away and held his face, caressing his cheek lightly. In our renewed silence his eyes glowed. In that moment I found not only my Prince Charming but my home, my place to find company when the cold winds blew. A wide grin formed my lips. Yes,